Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for listening Ajay and Bhavna's love story. Here are another chapters of Ajay and Bhavna's love story. Enjoy listening.
Delhi to Raipur. It was the second week of January 2010. Hi darling, how are you? Bhavna asked cheerfully over phone. Your excitement says you have some news. Yes, I'm excited because within the next 2 days you are going to meet my parents, she said. It was exciting for her, but frightful for me. But I guess you have something else to tell me. What is the news? Pooja Didi wants to know what you like to eat, she said. That means I'm going to receive a grand welcome. Yes, the Pradhans are going to welcome the Pandays, she said proudly. Don't say Pandey and Pradhan. It scares me. Oh, that's remind me. You have to buy something for my family, she said. Am I going for a Muh Dikhai Rasam or what? I yelled in frustration. A return AC Tatkal ticket from Delhi to Raipur cost more than 4,000 bucks. I'm not going to invest anything more. Mr. Kanjus Pandeyji, you have to forget all these silly things. After all, you are going to marry a princess of Pradhan family. She giggled. Sometimes I hate her giggles. Miss Princess, you are going to marry a beggar. The princess orders Mr. Kanjus to please make a list. List? The word list felt like a bomb. You have to buy 1 kilogram sweets from a branded shop like Nattu or Haldiram. No Agrawals. 1 kilo? It sounded as if someone has asked a drunkard for his last peg. Your father is a diabetic. Pujadi must be on a diet. Mr. Nanhu is only 2 years old. Your mummy will have 1 kilo of sweets or what? You have to argue about everything. It's stupid to talk to you. You should get used to such things after we get married, she said, giggling, and continued giving orders. Now listen, Ajay. You have to buy a toy for Nanhu. It should be more than 500 rupees at least. I have to specify these things in your case, she said. She stressed the word least as if it was just like donating a rupee to a beggar. He is a 2-year-old kid, ma'am. Will he play with the toy or 500 rupees? And does he even say anything? He only says Anji. Sometimes he says Mossy too, she said. Anji? Angelina Jolie? No, Anji means what is this? It's a question for him, she explained. On one condition, if he calls me Mausaji, tell Pooja Di it's my wish to hear this from him, I said. Concentrate, Ajay. And she continued giving a series of instructions. You have to make this journey memorable. You have to wear a blazer or coat. Please do shave on the train. And lastly, when they ask to stay at home, then you have to say no first. If they insist, only then you should accept, she instructed. Hotel bills will also bomb on me. This journey would be memorable. My credit card will never allow me to forget it. What color innerwear do I have to wear? Green or red? I asked sarcastically. She chuckled. She gave me instructions again like a teacher. I followed them like those students who are all time busy cursing their teachers, but at the end of the day complete all homework with heavy hearts. The Indian Railways had continued to follow their tradition. The Gondwana Express from Delhi to Raipur was delayed by 6 hours. I was in train and preparing my thoughts for the upcoming meeting. I wasn't that tense as I had already faced the worst at home. One question stumped me. I called my angel again. Hello, Bhavna. Are you in Raipur? No, yaar. We'll reach in an hour. Listen, Ajay. I want to tell you, you need not stay in hotel. She giggled. Now happy. Hope you can save millions of dollars. Bhavna, the train charger is not working. Please listen carefully. Okay, go on. Should I call your mother and father, papa and mummy, or uncle and auntie? Hmm. She thought for a second. Uncle and auntie would be nice. Okay, bye, I said. One more thing. Pair chulena, touch their feet, she said, and my phone went off. As soon as the train entered the Raipur railway station, I saw Bhavna's parents waiting outside the station, and as my eyes moved along the platform, I saw a baby holding Pooja Di's little finger. Oh my god, don't they have any other work to do? The whole family is here to receive me. Mr. Pandey, you are the first person in your family who has come for his own Muh Dikhai, your own marriage exhibition. I pretend I had not seen anyone and started looking at Mars and Jupiter. After 2 minutes, I heard a voice similar to Bhavna's. Ajay, here Ajay, Pooja Di screamed. I went to them and touched Bhavna's mummy's feet. They gave her life. They deserve this, I thought. Namaste, mum, auntie. It's okay, beta, she said and caught my hand. I smiled and was about to jump at Bhavna's papa's feet, but he realized the upcoming danger and said, It's completely okay. The word completely seemed as if touching his feet wasn't going to make much of the difference to him. I imagined a scene from DDLJ and thought, do I need to feed pigeons early in the morning to make an impact on Mr. Amrish Puri? I took the front seat. There was silence inside the car. It was killing, but the silence was broken. Angie, when there is a baby, silence does not last long. I heard the word NG, turned and found a tiny little finger pointing at me. Mr. Nanhu was inquiring about me. You want to come? I pulled him into the front seat. He continued staring at me and said, NG. Mausaji, I said, and Bhavna's father gave me a strange look. I grinned and heard Poojadi giggling at the back. NG? The baby asked again. It felt as if he was saying, Moron, you came here to take away my Mossy. I'm uncle, I said, answering him. I continued to play with him and was thankful for the presence of the kid in the car. He was the only one that kept us alive for the next half an hour. But I saw out of the corner of my eye that Bhavna's mummy was scanning me from head to toe. She must have counted every pimple, mole, and strand of my hair on my head. I was scared, but I consoled myself. Mr. Pandey, your Muh Dikhai has begun. After we reached Bhavna's house, with a heavy heart, I handed Bhavna's mummy 1 kilo of Kaju sweets from Nathu Sweets and Nanhu a toy. He was delighted and tried to play with me, but my head was churning. After a 36-hour journey, everything exhausted me. Ajay, please have some tea and go and rest. You must be tired, Bhavna's mummy said, concerned. After a few minutes, many cups of tea, snacks, cashew nuts, namkeen, chips, sweets, and cookies crowded the dining table. Were they waiting for me or the whole Bharat? If this is what it is like during a love marriage, they would have opened snack shops for an arranged marriage. On seeing all the goodies on the table in front of me, I turned back into the monster I had been during my college days. I pounced on the salted cashew, and the moment I thought I would finish them off, Bhavna's face flashed in front of me, and I heard her saying, Control, Pandeji. I took one with a fake grin, as if it was the last cashew nut on this earth. I looked at Mummy and grinned. Take some more, beta, she said. It's okay, auntie. After finishing a soothing cup of tea, I decided to summarize what I had to say in a few minutes. I want some rest, auntie. My head is aching. Pooja, she called her daughter to guide me to the room. After 45 minutes of resting, Pooja Di entered the room. Ajay, you want to talk to us before dinner or after dinner? I was thinking what to say when she made another suggestion. Ajay, it would be better to talk first so that you can eat in peace, she smiled. Okay, I'm coming. While leaving, she said, All the best, Ajay. Till then, I was fine, but her all the best froze me. I entered the living room while praying to the hundreds of known gods. They had already settled down on the sofa. Three pairs of eyes were staring at me. Only one pair of eyes gave me some space. Nanhu was busy playing with the gadget I had gifted him. I gave them a fake smile and settled on the sofa. Nanhu, please don't make any noise. Settle down. Bhavna's mummy seemed to be preparing herself for the upcoming primetime show. Mr. Nanhu also joined them, and now four pair of eyes were staring at me. My throat felt choked. In spite of such a big living area, I felt as if we were all packed inside a toilet. My mobile blinked as I received a message. Love you, Ajay. I know Mr. Shahrukh will rock. There was no doubt. That message had helped me breathe. After reading the SMS, I turned towards Bhavna's father to say what I had practiced. Uncle, you know why I'm here. I've known Bhavna for almost 7 years and we studied together in engineering. Yes, we are good friends. After engineering, I decided to do an MBA and now I'm placed in Reddington India Limited in Delhi. I spluttered. My papa is engineer at NTPC, Rehan Nagar. I have three siblings. I was talking like I was being interviewed for a job. Then I pushed myself. Ajay, please don't go round and round in circles. Please come straight to the point. I gulped down a glass of water and continued. All my paternal relatives live in Naini, Allahabad. My father is the youngest in the family and we live in a joint family. Being the youngest brother, he has to consult each and every family member. An intercaste marriage is still taboo among Brahmins. I signed. But I know my father loves me and he will respect my decision. I tried to generalize my problem to get the specific solution. Bhavna already explained that. Bhavna's mummy interrupted me. Mummy, I want two favors from Papa. I said mummy so that they would consider me as a part of the family. Yes, please, beta. Bhavna's papa said, because my father requires some time to convince his brothers, I need some time from you. And I paused for a minute and continued. Secondly, my family feels a sense of pride in belonging to the groom's side. Tomorrow they may expect the first call from you. That's all. His voice echoed like that of the legendary Amrish Puri in my mind. One more, last one. I already said two, and now I had to add the third. I may be portraying an unpractical scenario. Tomorrow my father would ask you to convince Bhavna against this marriage, so I need your support in that. It means your father is totally against this. He's hit the nail straight to the head. No, uncle. Personally, Papa doesn't have any issue, but the other relatives or Tauji may disagree. I lied. Your family knows about this? Yes, my family knows about Bhavna. No, I'm not talking about Bhavna. Your trip to Raipur. No, this is an unofficial trip and you must keep it a secret. I said as if I was applying for an unofficial visa. Your fourth favor? He summed up and I nodded. I froze. Everyone was glaring at me. In fact, Mr. Nanu was also looking at me in a way as if saying, "You can't snatch away my Masi." I excused myself to go to a washroom. I thanked God for creating the biological need to urinate. I intentionally took a lot of time and tried to hear what was going on from the other side of the door, but failed. To break the silence, I came out with a fake smile and tried to dangle another carrot in front of them. Uncle, my father is a loving person. He only wants to see me happy. He will not expect a dowry. But my words were cut off by him. Listen, son, we belong to a simple family and we don't have any problem with this. I want my daughter to be happy. You take your time, and even if I decided on an arranged marriage, I would have definitely been the first caller. So, calling your parents is not a big problem. Just tell me what is the best time to talk to them. But I have always hated the word but, he continued. I've only one condition. This marriage should be an arranged marriage. I will not support it if your family does not agree to it. What if my father calls you to warn you against this marriage? My proposal was like anticipatory bail for Bhavna. You don't worry, son. Take your time to convince your family. Tears filled my eyes. My heart said, this man is not Amrish Puri. He is like Anupam Kher of DDLJ, who always seeks happiness in the happiness of his son. You don't worry about time, beta, but the sooner will be better. This time, Bhavna's mother interrupted us. I realized one thing: I only had limited time to convince my family. The more I delayed the process, the higher the chances of her mother turning from Farida Jalal to Lalita Pawar. I got up for dinner, and as expected, a five-star buffet was served. Bindi ki sabzi, dal tadka, roti, and damalu. I understood who might have told them to make all this. Now I felt like the prince of the family. I stuffed myself with food and ignored any thought of control Pandeji. The next morning, I was served a lavish breakfast. I was ready to leave to catch the Sampark Kranti, which left at noon. I touched Bhavna's mummy's feet. Pooja Di wished me, Happy journey, Ajay. Bhavna's papa was taking out the car, and when I heard a cute melodious voice, Mausaji, I turned to the source. Mr. Nanhu was pointing his tiny finger at me. I looked at Pujadi and she winked. I pulled him up on my lap, kissed his cheeks, and whispered into his ear, your Mossy is awesome, and it's a commitment that one day I will officially be your Mosaji. But again, he said innocently, NG? Operation Emotional Drama 2. My emotional drama was at its pinnacle. Silence had become my language with my parents. I didn't miss any opportunity to let them know that I was heartbroken. Monu updated me with the progress every day, which was not really any progress at all. I decided to ignore Papa's calls. But the son's heart sometimes disobeyed the resolve and picked the call. Papa noted down my roommates' mobile numbers, and wherever I didn't pick his call, he called my roommates to check if everything was fine. My heart was burdened with guilt, and I cursed myself for emotionally blackmailing them. I was feeling down. My conscience often shouted, you are a bad son. You are a bad son. How can you be a bad son when you feel guilty about every lie? Your guilty conscience says that you are a good son. Bhavna consoled me. In spite of my illogical act, Bhavna always found some logical reason to cheer me up. Though I was the one who had launched Operation Emotional Drama, both sides were playing well. One day, my mother was hospitalized and was discharged on the same day. Due to excessive thinking, she had a mild pain near the heart, and doctors said there is a chance of heart trouble. Papa explained like I was solely responsible for her condition. Monu was not at home as he was busy with the entrance exam. The next day, when he was back, I called him. But he refused to talk as he was with Ma at the hospital. The situation was getting worse. I was scared and called Bhavna. Hi dear, how are you? She asked. It was rubbish. Ma had to go to the hospital again. What? Has she been hospitalized again? Bhavna asked, shocked. I don't know whether she has been hospitalized or not. I called Monu. He said that he is in the hospital with Ma. Oh Ajay, I think you should go home. This emotional drama had been going on for the last 2 months. Go to your home. Go to your home before it is too late. Her concern, love, and sensitivity to people was what I loved the most about her. Love you, dear. You are always concerned about. Oh, Mono is calling. I want to listen to his conversation, Ajay. I will remain on mute during the conference call. She pleaded. No, Bhavna, I don't want you to hear any bad news. Ajay, I am also concerned. Tomorrow they could be my family. And again, her saint behavior made me faint. I called Monu. Bhavna stayed on the line. Hi, brother. How is Ma? Namaste, Bhaiya. Ma is fine. How are you? I'm fine. Are you sure you are fine? Monu asked inquisitively. Still alive, brother. Only worried about Ma and Papa's health. Good to hear that. Papa asked me about your health. They are also worried about you and you are worried about them, Monu replied. What did you say about me? Nothing. I said Bhaiya is not talking much. That's all. How is Ma? Is she okay? What did the ECG report say? The ECG report is normal, Monu said. Then why was she hospitalized yesterday? Brother, wait. Ma was not hospitalized because of heart trouble. She was hospitalized because of a gas problem. Suddenly a voice chuckled in the background. Bhaiya, is someone on a conference call? Monu asked. No, no, it was a sound from the TV. I just turned it on. I mentally cursed Bhavna for not keeping her phone on mute. Forget that sound. So you mean Ma is okay? No heart trouble? No, Bhaiya. It's all emotional drama. But they are sad about you. Listen carefully, bro. In case there is any such danger, you will have to handle it and inform me. Do you understand? Don't worry, Bhaiya. You take care of yourself. I'm fine as long as they are okay, dear. Bhaiya, I have to go. Else Papa will guess that I was talking to you. Then he will start using me. Using? What does that mean? Am I using you? Oh, no, Bhaiya. I love being used by you since you are going to give me such a lovely Bhabhi. His words touched me. How do you know that your Bhabhi is lovely? Bhaiya, you ask so many questions. I'm going now. Bye. Bye. And Monu said, and bye, Bhabhi. Thank you, Monu, Bhavna said. What is this? Now I understood why you said your Bhabhi was lovely. You were buttering her up. I heard a beep from other end of the line. Now Bhavna and I were on the line. Ma'am, can't you keep your cell phone on mute? Sorry, but your brother is a big fan of mine, Bhavna said flattered. He is really cute. He is not cute. He is my brother. After all, he realized that you were on call too, and he said the same to butter you up. So your entire family is like that? She asked. Yes, my father is turning my mother's gas problem into heart problem. Your entire family is involved in Operation Emotional Drama, she chuckled. It's not the time to analyze the smartness of my family. Mr. Pandey, just answer one thing. While proposing to me, were you not aware of all these issues? She asked bitterly. Love is blind, dear, I signed. But lovers are dumb. My quit and my guilt. Operation Emotional Drama had been running unsuccessfully for over 3 months, and how long it would last could not be guessed. Every day I projected my sadness as a warm heat so that the candle could melt and I could give that liquid my darling's shape. 1st February 2010 was my father's 50th birthday. A good day for celebration, but if someone had a son like me, then every day could have a reason to mourn. And besides, my birthday gift was also going to call him from Raipur. It was decided that on my father's birthday, Bhavna's dad would talk to my father. I was waiting for Bhavna's call. I was eager to receive the feedback of the conversation between both the fathers. Bhavna called me. I disconnected and called her back. Ajay, I love you, yaar. She said the world's loveliest lines while sobbing in a way that horrified me. Love you too, my darling. But what happened? First stop crying and then explain. She continued sobbing. Bhavna, please tell me what's wrong, dear. Papa called your father. First, he wished him a happy birthday, and later, when Papa started talking about our marriage, he said, she broke down and started weeping. No need to say anything, darling. He must have said that you convinced Bhavna and I will handle my son, since my other family members will not agree to an intercaste marriage. Yes, you are so intelligent, she said, recovering. Was Papa rude? No, your father was pretty gentle and soft spoken. What did your father say? That's more important. He said both are young, earning, and mature. We should understand them. We are young kids and can be swayed in any direction. Still, he left the decision on your father. He said, after all, he is your son and you have every right to make his decisions. Oh, such a lovely father. Yes, Ajay, I never expected this from my strict father. Today I forgive him for everything. If I was at Raipur, I would have hugged him, she said in a choked voice. Parents are like that only. So don't worry if your father behaves like that. Surely my father will also melt someday. Love you, Ajay. My father didn't do this for me. He supported you against your father only because of your visit to Raipur. I knew this would happen. That's why I was proactive about going to Raipur. But Ajay, there is one serious problem, she signed. What now? Tell me. If next time your papa requests the same from him, then my father will also say no. Now both have each other's numbers as well. I can understand, yaar. Even I am scared about that, I said tensed. Ajay, now you have less time to convince your parents, she said, as I had millions of years to negotiate with them before this. I knew this scene, but I have another plan, she interrupted me. Why don't you join the planning commission? Even they plan less than you, she cried. Your operation emotional drama was crap. I don't want to be part of any plan now. Listen, yaar, but she was in no mood to listen. If you are so intelligent and you know everything, then why did you propose to me? Your family has so many issues. Why did you come into my life? I was happy alone, she said, furious. I remained quiet. She kept on asking me, why, Ajay, why? Sorry, Bhavna, I don't have answers to your question. I am simple girl, Ajay. I don't want money or a high profile life. I only want my family to be happy. I owe them for the way they are supporting me. If tomorrow we get married and have kids, I will not add any surname to their name. I hate this Pandey and Pradhan. I will kill the bastards who made this caste system. We are born human beings and should be loved for our actions. I fail to understand, Ajay, how someone is responsible for their birth, she cried. I was about to say something, but the call got disconnected. I called back, but her phone was switched off. I buried myself under the quilt and started cursing my fortune. I begged the gods, who I used to only think of occasionally, but had now begun to think of more frequently. I tried to reach Bhavna multiple times but failed. At around 1 am, I received a message from Bhavna. Sorry for shouting at you, Ajay. You are facing more than I am, and I really respect you for standing up for the right reasons. I love your never give up attitude to life. I'm okay. We'll talk tomorrow. The situation, however, didn't improve and negativity started taking over. We started talking less, and Bhavna started avoiding interview calls from Delhi too. I stopped giving her daily updates about my family. Why did I involve Bhavna in all this? Why was I born a Brahmin? In fact, why was I born? Why did I have to struggle all the time? Should I have continued with this? Suppose they agree to the match with her. How would she adjust to them? Was I a bad person? I asked myself questions, but they remained unanswered every time. The positive side of my mind stopped arguing with the negative. I felt like hugging my mother and crying. Hopelessness and helplessness alone were part of my daily breakfast. I even stopped eating breakfast. One weekend, I bought a few breezer in order to dissolve into that. A breezer can do wonders for a person who never drinks. I opened my laptop to find a health tip from my company. Mental health. According to studies, 1 out of every 4 Indians suffers from an anxiety disorder. If not addressed in time, anxiety may lead to serious depression. Mental or emotional health refers not only to the absence of anxiety or depression, but your overall psychological well being. It includes the way you feel about yourself, the quality of your relationships, and your ability to manage your feelings and deal with difficulties. Red flag feelings and behavior that may require help. First, inability to sleep. Second, concentration problems that affect your professional or personal life. Third, using nicotine, food, drugs, or alcohol in order to cope with difficult emotions. Fourth, negative or self destructive thoughts. Fifth, thoughts of death and suicide. Issued by World Federation of Mental Health and World Health Organization. I read this after drinking two whole breezers and wondered, how is WHO aware of my problems? Who let them know? Every four Indians are suffering from this. Even Brahmins? Aren't they excluded on account of a good deeds from their previous births? Who keeps an account of the deeds of all our previous births? And with those thoughts, Operation Emotional Drama died a quick death. As I was reading about the red flags, I received a call from Monu. Hi Bhaiya, how are you and how is Bhabhi? I'm fine as usual. Don't call her Bhabhi. She is not on a conference call with us. But she is still my Bhabhi. Stop eating my head about your Bhabhi, I shouted. Sorry yaar, I apologized, recovering from my own agony. I can understand Bhaiya. I have news. Good or bad? That you have decided. A new serial started on TV a few days back. It shows on Colors at 9 p.m. and Papa and Ma watch it a lot. What is so special about it? Has someone committed suicide in it or what? Just watch it, you will see. I put on Colors and for the first time I watched something seriously. It started with some stereotypical music and trailer during the break said Brahmin ka ladka or Kayast ki ladki. The effect of the breezer vanished after I saw that. The serial was called Ye Pyar Na Hoga Kam. It was the love story set in the small town in Lucknow. The boy belonged to rich Brahmin family and the girl belonged to poor Kayasth family. It starred Yami Gautam and Gaurav Khanna. The serial added salt to my wounds. I yelled at myself, what is this? Is some serial going to decide my fate or what? I seriously followed a serial for the first time in my life. And in fact, Bhavna's family was also following the same serial. It showed all the problems and differences between two castes. One was pure vegetarian and the other was non vegetarian. The Kayastha family was miserly, whereas the Brahmin were rich and affluent. The Kayasthas were good at business, where the Brahmins were quite simple. Bhavna did not have a TV at her PG, so she couldn't watch it. I'm still thankful to her landlord for not having a TV. I started hating everything, my job, my family, my friends, and even myself. Even the work in the office was not keeping me occupied. I often used to give fake reasons and would stay buried inside my guilt. Those days, my guilt was my best friend. Every time when I was buried inside my guilt was above that.